Is hormones. I was going to talk about maybe low testosterone. We're seeing that in men in their 20s, 30s, 40s. I mean, just low hormone levels. And women need some level of testosterone too. So if you do have hormone issues, whether that is adrenal related, cortisol, thyroid hormone, maybe you can riff on that for a minute because I think people are focusing on gut, 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 which is great. But there's also this other connection of the hormone piece. And I will tell you, my cortisol was completely depleted when I did a salivary panel years ago. My cortisol was flat all day and it was really tough no matter how much I tried in the gym. I was weak. Like just my God, I could not make progress. Fortunately, it's better now, but man, I've been through it.
Yeah, and some people they may be really high with their cortisol, and we have to use adaptogens to calm it down. Of course, like good diet and lifestyle things. Some may be low, and typically you don't just go low all of a sudden. You tend to be on the higher overstimulated side for a while, and then you tend to crash. And that's where that low cortisol kind of comes together. And with that chronic low cortisol, a lot of times we see low DHEA. And DHEA is important because that's going to be a precursor to a lot of men and women's sex hormones. And so women will go more down the estrogen side, men will trickle more down testosterone. These are both anabolic hormones. And so if we have lower DHEA, that tells us the adrenal issues that are going on are more chronic, and DHEA will go downstream to more of these anabolic building up type of hormones. So very important to take a look at your DHEA because that could tell you if you're in a more catabolic inflamed place. And also too, if you do exercise, I get it if it's like your first couple of movements, it's like a new exercise kind of thing. You may be a little bit sore because it's new, but you shouldn't be overly sore after your workouts. If it's a new thing, fine, or it was really, an acute hard workout, but in general, you shouldn't be overly sore, more than 2 days or so later. You really shouldn't. You should still be able to function. Like maybe you feel it, like it feels like you did something, but it's not overly sore. If you are, um, and it was a reasonable amount of exercise, it wasn't like you did too much, you're probably in a more catabolic state. And it's also, you could be over exercising too. So you got to make sure you're not over exercising.
Yeah, or I'm thinking like, what about a lactic acid buildup due to gut bacteria or a mitochondrial issue due to some sort of toxin where they're just depleted, they're not recovering well, they're not performing well. So maybe not directly related to muscle mass, but I think mitochondrial issues could be something to look into. You and I measure this and look at this on an organic acids test, and we often find a lot of issues. I mean, we're in a toxic world with a lot of chemicals, metals, pesticides, and so these things damage the mitochondria, which to me would directly impair your ability to perform. Is it directly reducing muscle mass if your mitochondria are damaged? I'm not sure on that. I'm sure we could look into it, but it makes sense.
Yep, absolutely.